Transitioning into high school is like really interesting because you go from being like the like oldest kids at school and like middle school and everything, and then suddenly like you feel like you're at the bottom again because it's like everyone's older than you, and so it's a really weird feeling. Um, but I think just like not getting caught up in like what everybody else is doing and like really focusing on yourself and like building like close like friendships and relationships and like finding like small groups of people who like allow you to be yourself and really like push you and like motivate you to like be your best self is like advice that I have about transitioning.
My biggest advice would just be to like focus on yourself, see how you're taking that, see if you need extra help, and go seek that. Um, One thing that definitely helped me in my transition to high school was getting involved in extracurriculars, getting involved in athletics and volunteer organizations because it helped me find a lot of the people that I'm closest to back home today, and it just gave me an outlet outside of the academic side of school. So I think finding your niche, finding where you fit, what you like, it's definitely a time like for exploration and definitely focus on yourself.
For me, because I went from a middle school to a high school that a lot of people like transition to. I had friends coming in, which was helpful, but I think the change was like the academic rigor. Like I took a lot more classes in high school, so I would say figure out how to organize yourself and how to start thinking about like time management and like um, ensuring that you take care of yourself. I wish I had known a lot more about like self care and like awareness of like my mental health and like getting enough sleep and um, exercising and eating right. So I think I wish I was like healthier throughout high school overall, and I think the transition is a place to like start rethinking about like what habits you practice and how they affect your sort of like daily school life. And I think if you get your habits um, together, then high school is going to be great.
I think my advice would be to be patient with yourself during the high school transition. My high school transition was not as smooth as it could have been. I would say when I entered high school, I was worried because I really wanted to, you know, have make some really good friends and take really cool classes that I adored and be involved in all these extracurricular activities that gave my life meaning and that kind of thing. And I thought that all of these things were just gonna fall into my lap right away, and obviously they didn't. And so I think for me, like if I could have been a little bit more patient with myself, that would have been helpful for my transition. That's the advice that I would give.
Don't be scared. Um, it'll all make sense. I remember I was really confused and like I was stressed because I didn't know what classes to take or what order to take them. But that's what like your friends and counselors are for. They're there to help you figure out like what classes to take. Also, just make sure to have fun and do things that make you happy. Like spend time with friends, go to dances, try a sport, or join choir, and just like make sure you have something that will ground you outside of your schoolwork.
I specifically went through a kind of like very interesting transition, and that I switched school districts um, when entering my high school, and a lot of the people there had already known each other from before. So I kind of started with like a clean slate, and everybody was operating in their own world, and I was kind of lost. Um, but entering in, things that I think were really helpful for me in high school were just being open about being in any and every class, not trying to have like preconceived notions. When you get into the classroom, just give it your best, and you can have fun. You can learn a lot, and it'll just help you out in forming relationships, especially your first year. Um, the people around you are gonna be like, yeah, like that kid is really putting in their best effort. Like maybe I should get to know them. Maybe they'll be able to help me out or something like that. Or maybe like that kid is really enjoying what's going on in this class. This is kind of boring to me. Maybe if I talk to him, he'll spice it up or something like that. And um, that can be helpful in forming friendships. It'll also set you up for success when it comes later on in your classes and stuff like that. The way classes worked, it was very independent, especially when you switch into high school. And you're gonna have to focus a lot on time management, especially when you pick up other things, like if you do extracurriculars and you join clubs or you do a sport or something like that. You're gonna have to manage having practice, having homework, having time to hang out with your friends, chores that you have at the house. Maybe if you have a job, you might have to work around hours for that. So I suggest something like a planner. A planner is very helpful, or a calendar. Like just write down everything you got. That way it's not floating around in your head and you miss something. And then schedule your time right. So like when you're like make sure that you work hard when you have to work hard. That way you can enjoy the time that you have off. Because a lot of people like try to hang out with friends before they get homework done. And that can be fun. Sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you need to take a break before you can do your work. But it makes hanging out with friends so much more fun when you don't have the stress of other things looming over you. So I'd say focus on your time, plan it out correctly, be open when you enter your classes because you never know what you might gain from it, and enjoy it. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Get in high school, meet who you can, and just learn as much as you can. Live a good life.